Who would have thought that Fifth Cell, the makers of the popular DS game Scribblenauts, would have jumped to Microsoft's Xbox and created a multiplayer shooter? Well, that is exactly what they have done. Fifth Cell has promised a persistent world powered by the player and a control scheme that will change the way you play shooters, should you be the lab rat in Fifth Cell's jetpack-fueled experiment. Hybrid does have a story behind it, but it's somewhat arbitrary. A cataclysmic event that destroyed Australia somehow forced two factions, the Paladins and the Variants, into a war over dark matter. The game doesn't explain much, and you'll have to go to Hybrid's website to get some more details. But it doesn't really matter. There's no traditional single-player campaign. The war takes place online. After you choose a faction to play as, the game gets you up to speed on its very unique control scheme. I doubt there are many gamers thinking that taking away free movement in their favorite shooter would somehow improve the game, but Hybrid changes things up anyway. This game is all about the jetpack and taking cover. At any time you can look at a piece of cover, press A, and you will automatically fly towards it and plant yourself behind it. However, you can also choose a different piece of cover mid-flight and fly towards that one instead. After a few minutes of this, you'll soon be able to fly continuously by proceeding to choose new cover while flying. But there's even more nuance to it. Mid-flight, you can strafe horizontally or vertically, boost, press B to retreat back to the previous cover you selected, or press Y to land on the opposite side of cover, which will also allow you to vault over cover. It might seem strange when I explain it, but the tutorial assures you the game is as simple as it is, and once you get used to it, combat becomes frantic and fun. This control scheme, in combination with the simple maps, was a brilliant decision. Not even in Gears of War is flanking handled so well. During the first few matches, wrapping your head around movement and shooting at the same time is tough, but once you understand how to flank enemies, travel around the maps, and rack up a kill streak, the matches become fun very fast. And once you do gain a kill streak, the game gives you a small selection of drones. One kill earns you a Stalker, a robot that follows you around and helps you in firefights. 3 kills gives you a Warbringer, a large flying tank that works best for distracting enemies, and on your 5th kill, you're given a Praeon, an assassin-like robot that works like a heat-seeking missile that will instantly kill a single enemy. While killing drones doesn't contribute to your kill-death ratio, it does contribute to your kill streak that gives you drones. In other words, there will be drones everywhere, but they can all be destroyed with some well-placed shots, making them quite balanced. Drones only contribute to the fast-paced nature of Hybrid. The standard assortment of game types are here, with Team Deathmatch, Artifact, and King of the Hill modes being the highlights, but all modes suffer when one team is dominating. When matches are already short, at roughly 5 minutes each, when one team is dominating, games can be as short as 2 minutes. That and the mode Tactics, a 1 life per round mode, just doesn't make sense with this kind of gameplay. However, there is one feature that we could see implemented in other popular franchises. There is the familiar system of gaining ranks and creating your own custom loadout, which is fun, but what steals the show is the persistent online world war. Before you enter a match, you must pick a location to fight in. You can fight on any continent, except for a decimated Australia, and each continent is broken up into numerous districts. In each district, there will be a race for dark matter. Whether you win or lose, your effort will help your faction get closer to reaching a district's extraction zone. If your faction reaches a district's dark matter first, that faction gets 2 dark matter. If the other faction gets their second, that faction gets only 1 dark matter. The faction to reach 100 dark matter wins the season. And to encourage fighting in locations where the fight is more prevalent, the game gives you an XP bonus for fighting there. However, fighting in certain locations doesn't change the maps. The 10 maps here will look and play the same whether you chose to fight in Texas or Spain. Otherwise, this is a step forward, not just for Xbox Live Arcade games, but for shooters as a whole. It encourages players to put in at least a few games a day to help the cause. Even more so than the kind of leveling up feature we've seen in recent shooters, and building faction loyalty doesn't hurt. During my time with Hybrid, I couldn't wait to see what areas would be taken or become the next hot zone. Right now, this feature is pretty simple, but I could see something like this implemented in series such as Battlefield or Gears of War if it was beefed up a bit. Finally, the presentation. This is a great looking downloadable shooter if you haven't noticed by now. It's colorful, vibrant, and fits the over-the-top nature of the gameplay well. The soundtrack is reminiscent of Mass Effect, and the weapon sound effects and announcer are just awesome.
Game over. We've won. Well done, everybody.
Hybrid is the kind of multiplayer game that XBLA does best. It's fun, addictive, and a unique experience on the cheap that doesn't take itself too seriously. If this game gets you hooked, Hybrid is a steal at $15, and there's a good chance you could play this until the major titles of this holiday season come out. Strap on a jetpack and join this fight.